Welcome to the Bible Quiz and Trinket channel. Today, we're exploring the incredible miracles of Jesus, testing your knowledge with 50 questions about his most astonishing deeds. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like this video to support our content. After the quiz, share your score in the comments. We love seeing how well you do. Are you ready? Let's get started. Question 1. Where did Jesus turn water into wine? A. Jerusalem. B. Cana. C. Nazareth. D. Bethany. Answer: B. Cana. Jesus performed his first miracle at a wedding in Cana, where he turned water into wine, as described in John 2:1-11. This miracle not only demonstrates his divine power, but also symbolizes the transformation from the old covenant to the new. Question 2. How many baskets were left over after Jesus fed the 5,000? A. 5. B. 7. C. 12. D. 20. Answer: C. 12. After Jesus fed the 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fish, there were 12 baskets full of pieces left over, symbolizing God's abundance and provision. This event is recorded in all 4 Gospels: Matthew 14:20, Mark 6:43, Luke 9:17, John 6:13. Question 3. What type of tree did Jesus curse, causing it to wither? A. Olive. B. Sycamore. C. Figure. D. Palm. Answer: C. Figure. Jesus cursed a fig tree that had no fruit, causing it to wither away. This event, found in Matthew 21:19-21 and Mark 11:14, symbolizes the judgment on spiritual barrenness. Question 4. In which sea did Jesus calm a storm? A. Dead Sea. B. Red Sea. C. Sea of Galilee. D. Mediterranean Sea. Answer: C. Sea of Galilee. Jesus calmed a storm on the Sea of Galilee, demonstrating his power over nature, as recounted in Matthew 8:23-27, Mark 4:35-41, and Luke 8:22-25. Question 5. What was the first miracle Jesus performed in the Gospel of Mark? A. Healing a blind man. B. Feeding 4,000. C. Exorcising an unclean spirit. D. Walking on water. Answer: C. Exorcising an unclean spirit. The first miracle Jesus performed in the Gospel of Mark was exorcising an unclean spirit from a man in the synagogue at Capernaum. Mark 1:23-28. Question 6. Who did Jesus raise from the dead in Bethany? A. Jairus' daughter. B. The widow's son. C. Lazarus. D. Eutychus. Answer: C. Lazarus. Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead in Bethany, which is recorded in John 11:144. This miracle not only displayed his power over death, but also reinforced the belief in the resurrection. Question 7. How many fish were caught when Jesus told Peter to cast the nets on the other side of the boat after his resurrection? At 153. B. 200. C. 120. D. 75. Answer: A. 153. After his resurrection, Jesus instructed Peter to cast the net on the right side of the boat, catching 153 large fish, as recounted in John 21:6-11. Question 8. What did Jesus use to heal a man's ear during his arrest in the Garden of Gethsemane? A. Mud. B. His cloak. C. His touch. D. A prayer. Answer C. His touch. Jesus healed the servant's ear with a touch after Peter cut it off during the arrest in the Garden of Gethsemane. Luke 22:50-51. Question 9. What did Jesus say to calm the storm on the sea? A. Be still. B. Peace, be still. C. Winds, cease. D. Silence, storm. Answer B. Peace, be still. Jesus calmed the storm on the Sea of Galilee by rebuking the wind and saying, Peace, be still. Mark 4:39. Question 10. How many lepers did Jesus cleanse at one time? A. 2. B. 5. C. 10. D. 15. Answer C. 10. Jesus cleansed 10 lepers at once, as recorded in Luke 17:11-19, teaching about gratitude, as only one returned to thank him. Question 11. Who was sitting by the pool of Bethesda for 38 years before Jesus healed him? A. A blind man. B. A lame man. C. A paralyzed man. D. An elderly man. Answer C. A paralyzed man. The man healed by Jesus at the pool of Bethesda had been paralyzed for 38 years. John 5:1-15. Question 12. What did Jesus use to heal the blind man at Bethsaida? A. His spit only. B. Mud and saliva. C. Water and cloth. D. Prayers only. Answer B. Mud and saliva. Jesus used mud made from his saliva to heal a blind man at Bethsaida. Mark 8:23-25. Question 13. In what town did Jesus heal a man with an unclean spirit in the synagogue? A. Nazareth. B. Capernaum. C. Bethsaida. D. Jericho. Answer B. Capernaum. Jesus healed a man with an unclean spirit in the synagogue in Capernaum. Mark 1:21-28. Question 14. What did Jesus do before feeding the 4,000 with 7 loaves of bread and a few small fish? A. He prayed. B. He sang a hymn. C. He blessed the food. D. He asked for silence. Answer C. He blessed the food. Before feeding the 4,000, Jesus took the 7 loaves and the fish, gave thanks, broke them, and gave them to the disciples to distribute. Matthew 15:36. Question 15. What was the name of the centurion's servant healed by Jesus just by his word? A. Simon. B. Marcus. C. Justus. D. None is given. Answer D. None is given. The name of the centurion's servant healed by Jesus is not given in the Gospels. Matthew 8:5-13, Luke 7:1-10. Question 16. How did Jesus heal the servant of the high priest during his arrest? A. By a command. B. With a touch. C. Through prayer. D. By speaking a parable. Answer B. With a touch. During his arrest, Jesus healed the servant of the high priest, whose ear Peter had cut off by touching the servant's ear and immediately healing him. This compassionate act is recorded in Luke 22:51. Question 17. What miracle did Jesus perform at the wedding in Cana? A. Healing a blind man. B. Raising the dead. C. Turning water into wine. D. Multiplying food. Answer C. Turning water into wine. At the wedding in Cana, Jesus performed the miracle of turning water into wine, which is detailed in John 2 to 111. This was his first recorded miracle and symbolized the new joy that he brings into life. Question 18. Where did Jesus walk on water? A. Jordan River. B. Dead Sea. C. Sea of Galilee. D. Red Sea. Answer: C. Sea of Galilee. Jesus walked on the waters of the Sea of Galilee, demonstrating his mastery over the natural elements. This event is vividly described in Matthew 14:22-33, Mark 6:45-52, and John 6:16-21. Question 19. What type of fish did Peter catch that contained a coin in its mouth, according to Jesus' instructions? A. A carp. B. A tilapia. C. A trout. D. A stater fish. Answer: D. A stater fish. Jesus instructed Peter to catch a fish, specifically a stater fish, which would have a coin in its mouth to pay the temple tax, as recounted in Matthew 17:24-27. Question 20. How many people did Jesus feed with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish? A. About 500. B. About 1,000. C. About 4,000. D. About 5,000. Answer: D. About 5,000. Jesus miraculously fed about 5,000 men, not counting women and children, with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. This event, emphasizing God's provision, is recorded in all 4 Gospels. Question 21. Which body of water was involved when Jesus performed the miracle of walking on water? A. Jordan River. B. Sea of Galilee. C. Dead Sea. D. Nile River. Answer: B. Sea of Galilee. Jesus performed the miracle of walking on the Sea of Galilee, showcasing his divine authority over the natural world. Question 22. Who was the woman Jesus healed who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years? A. Mary Magdalene. B. Joanna. C. Salome. D. Not named in the Bible. Answer: D. Not named in the Bible. The woman with the issue of blood, healed by Jesus after she touched the hem of his garment, is not named in the Bible. Her story is told in Matthew 9:20-22, Mark 5:25-34, and Luke 8:43-48. Question 23. What miracle did Jesus perform on the Mount of Transfiguration? A. Healed a leper. B. Transfigured before the disciples. C. Fed 4,000 people. D. Calmed a storm. Answer: B. Transfigured before the disciples. On the Mount of Transfiguration, Jesus was transfigured before Peter, James, and John, showing his divine glory. This event is detailed in Matthew 17:1-9, Mark 9:2-10, and Luke 9:28-36. Question 24. Who was the blind man that Jesus healed by making mud with his saliva and anointing the man's eyes? A. Bartimaeus. B. Lazarus. C. A man not named in the Bible. D. Zacchaeus. Answer: C. A man not named in the Bible. The blind man whom Jesus healed using mud made from saliva is not named in the Bible. This healing is recounted in John 9:1-12. Question 25. What did Jesus do to heal the man born blind from birth? A. Spoke a word. B. Made mud with saliva. C. Touched his eyes. D. Prayed loudly. Answer: B. made mud with saliva. Jesus healed the man born blind by making mud with his saliva, applying it to the man's eyes, and instructing him to wash in the pool of Siloam, as described in John 9-6-7. Question 26. How did Jesus heal the deaf and mute man? A, by shouting. B, by touching his tongue and ears. C, by making him drink a potion. D, by a prayer from afar. Answer. B, by touching his tongue and ears. Jesus healed a deaf and mute man by putting his fingers into the man's ears, touching his tongue with saliva, and commanding, "Be opened." This miracle is recorded in Mark 7:31-37. Question 27. What did Jesus say to raise Lazarus from the dead? A, awake Lazarus. B, Lazarus, come forth. C, rise up Lazarus. D, Lazarus, rise from sleep. Answer. B, Lazarus, come forth. To raise Lazarus from the dead, Jesus powerfully commanded, "Lazarus, come forth," as recounted in John 11:43. Question 28. What did Jesus feed to 5,000 men besides women and children, using only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish? A, bread and wine. B, bread and fish. C, meat and bread. D, fruits and bread. Answer. B, bread and fish. Jesus fed 5,000 men, plus women and children, using only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, demonstrating his divine provision. This miracle is famously recorded in all 4 Gospels. Question 29. In which Gospel is the miracle of the fig tree withering away found? A, Matthew. B, Mark. C, Luke. D, John. Answer. A, Matthew, and B, Mark. The miracle of the fig tree withering is recounted in both Matthew 21:18-22 and Mark 11:12-14-20-25, illustrating lessons on faith and the power of prayer. Question 30. Who was lowered through a roof by friends so that Jesus could heal him? A, a man with leprosy. B, a paralyzed man. C, a blind man. D, a mute man. Answer. B, a paralyzed man. A paralyzed man was lowered through the roof by his friends so that Jesus could heal him, showcasing their faith. This event is detailed in Mark 2:1-12, Luke 5:17-26, and Matthew 9:1-8. Question 31. How many demons did Jesus cast out of the man in the region of the Gerasenes? A, about 100. B, a legion. C, 7. D, 12. Answer. B, a legion. Jesus encountered a man possessed by a legion of demons in the region of the Gerasenes, and he cast them out into a herd of pigs, as detailed in Mark 5:120, Luke 8:26-39, and Matthew 8:28-34. A legion implied a vast number of demons, reflecting the severe affliction of the man. Question 32. What was the condition of the woman whom Jesus healed on the Sabbath in the synagogue? A, she was mute. B, she was blind. C, she had been crippled for 18 years. D, she was leprous. Answer. C, she had been crippled for 18 years. Jesus healed a woman on the Sabbath who had been crippled by a spirit for 18 years. She was bent over and could not straighten up at all, as recorded in Luke 13:10-17. Question 33. What did Jesus do to the fig tree that amazed his disciples? A, he blessed it. B, he cursed it, and it withered. C, He climbed it. D. He prayed under it. Answer B. He cursed it, and it withered. Jesus cursed a fig tree because it had no fruit, and it withered quickly, which amazed the disciples. This event symbolized judgment on unfruitfulness and is recounted in Matthew 21:18-22 and Mark 11:12-14, 20-25. Question 34. How did Jesus heal the man at the pool of Siloam? A. By telling him to wash in the pool. B. By touching his eyes. C. By praying over him. D. By blessing the water. Answer A. By telling him to wash in the pool. Jesus made mud with saliva, applied it to the blind man's eyes, and then told him to wash in the pool of Siloam. After doing so, the man came back seeing, as described in John 9:1-11. Question 35. What was the physical ailment of the woman who touched Jesus' cloak and was healed? A. She had a fever. B. She was paralyzed. C. She had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. D. She was deaf. Answer C. She had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. The woman who touched Jesus' cloak had suffered from bleeding for 12 years and was healed instantly upon touching him, demonstrating her faith. This is detailed in Matthew 9:20-22, Mark 5:25-34, and Luke 8:43-48. Question 36. What unusual method did Jesus use to heal the blind man near Jericho? A. He sang a hymn. B. He shouted. C. He spat on the ground and made mud. D. He used a cloth. Answer C. He spat on the ground and made mud. Near Jericho, Jesus healed a blind man by spitting on the ground, making some mud with the saliva and putting it on the man's eyes. He then asked him to wash in the pool of Siloam, as described in John 9. Question 37. What command did Jesus give to the paralyzed man whom he healed? A. Stand up and walk. B. Take your mat and walk. C. Rise, take up your bed, and go home. D. Your sins are forgiven. Now walk. Answer B. Take your mat and walk. To the paralyzed man, Jesus said, "Take your mat and walk," which not only healed him but also proved Jesus' authority to forgive sins, as recorded in Mark 2:1-12, Matthew 9:1-8, and Luke 5:17-26. Question 38. What was the response of Jairus when Jesus raised his daughter? A. He was angry. B. He was amazed. C. He wept with joy. D. The response is not recorded. Answer D. The response is not recorded. The Gospels do not specifically record Jairus' response after Jesus raised his daughter from the dead, but it is implied that he was astonished along with all others present, as described in Mark 5:21-43, Luke 8:40-56, and Matthew 9:18-26. Question 39. How did Jesus respond to the disciples' fear during the storm on the sea? A. Oh, you of little faith, why are you so afraid? B. Peace, be still. C. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. D. Why do you doubt? Answer A. Oh, you of little faith, why are you so afraid? During the storm on the sea, Jesus questioned the disciples' faith and calmed the storm, addressing their fears. This event is recounted in Matthew 8:23-27, Mark 4:35-41, and Luke 8:22-25. Question 40. In which city did Jesus heal a man on the Sabbath, causing controversy among the religious leaders? A. Jerusalem. B. Capernaum. C. Nazareth. D. Bethsaida. Answer: A. Jerusalem. Jesus healed a man on the Sabbath in Jerusalem at the pool of Bethesda, which caused controversy among the Jewish leaders because it was done on the Sabbath. This event is detailed in John 5 to 118. Question 41. What was the result of Jesus healing the man with the withered hand in the synagogue? A. The crowd rejoiced. B. The Pharisees plotted to kill Jesus. C. The man became a disciple. D. There was a great feast. Answer: B. The Pharisees plotted to kill Jesus. After Jesus healed a man with a withered hand on the Sabbath in the synagogue, the Pharisees were so infuriated that they began to plot with the Herodians on how they might kill him, as recorded in Mark 3 to 1:6 and Matthew 12 to 9:14. Question 42. Who were the first to see Jesus perform the miracle of turning water into wine? A. The disciples. B. The bride and groom. C. The servants. D. The Pharisees. Answer: C. The servants. The servants were the first to see Jesus perform the miracle of turning water into wine at the wedding in Cana, as they were the ones who drew the water that Jesus turned into wine, highlighted in John 2 to 111. Question 43. How did Jesus heal the man who had been an invalid for 38 years? A. By touching him. B. By praying over him. C. By telling him to pick up his mat and walk. By washing him. Answer: C. By telling him to pick up his mat and walk. Jesus healed the man who had been an invalid for 38 years by telling him to get up, pick up your mat and walk, which the man did immediately, showing Jesus' authority and power. This healing is detailed in John 5 to 19. Question 44. What was the quantity of wine Jesus produced during his first public miracle? A. A few bottles. B. Enough for the remainder of the feast. C. Several large jars. D. An unspecified amount. Answer: C. Several large jars. During his first public miracle, Jesus produced a substantial quantity of wine, filling 6 stone water jars, each holding 20 to 30 gallons, as described in John 2 to 6:10. Question 45. What miracle occurred involving Peter's net breaking due to a large number of fish? A. The net did not break. B. The net tore due to the weight. C. The boat began to sink. D. All of the above. Answer: D. All of the above. When Jesus instructed Peter to let down his nets, the catch was so great that the nets began to break and the boats began to sink, a testament to Jesus' provision and Peter's calling. This event is recounted in Luke 5 to 4:11. Question 46. What did Jesus command the storm before it ceased? A. Quiet, be calm. B. Peace, be still. C. Cease, be gentle. D. Stop, be quiet. Answer: B. Peace, be still. Jesus calmed the storm by rebuking the wind and commanding the sea, "Peace, be still." This demonstration of his power over nature is detailed in Mark 4:39. Question 47. Who pleaded with Jesus to heal this servant, claiming he was not worthy to have Jesus come under his roof? A. A Roman centurion. B. A Jewish elder. C. A Samaritan. D. A Pharisee. Answer: A. A Roman centurion. A Roman centurion showed great faith in Jesus' authority by requesting healing for his servant without Jesus needing to enter his home, saying he was not worthy. This interaction is recorded in Matthew 8 to 5:13 and Luke 7 to 1:10. Question 48. In which gospel does Jesus heal a woman with a spirit that had crippled her for 18 years? A. Matthew. B. Mark. C. Luke. D. John. Answer. C. Luke. Luke's gospel records the healing of a woman who had been crippled by the spirit for 18 years, which Jesus performed on the Sabbath, leading to a controversy. This healing is detailed in Luke 13:10-17. Question 49. How long did it take for the fig tree that Jesus cursed to wither? A. Immediately. B. 1 day. C. 3 days. D. A week. Answer. B. 1 day. The fig tree that Jesus cursed withered within 1 day, which surprised the disciples and served as a lesson on faith and the power of prayer, as recounted in Matthew 21:19-21 and Mark 11:20-21. Question 50. What was Jesus' reaction when the disciples woke him up during the storm on the sea? A. He was annoyed. B. He was calm. C. He rebuked them for their lack of faith. D. He praised their caution. Answer. C. He rebuked them for their lack of faith. When the disciples woke Jesus during the storm on the sea, he rebuked the wind and the waves and then rebuked the disciples for their lack of faith, questioning why they were so afraid. This episode is recorded in Matthew 8:23-27, Mark 4:35-41, and Luke 8:22-25.